Oh my god, guys. Crazy goofy girl. Oh, Malcolm's being so crazy. You guys can't take me anywhere. Like, Cursey Hamehass! Sometimes I feel like I'm the only normal person, like, left alive. Can, like, a sane person cover this? Can anybody who is not, like, deranged cover this? Please. What kind of autism is this? Can you just answer the question? Do you think dogs are hot or no? Okay, Lio Convoy time.
I tried before to make a video detailing every lie, inconsistency, and contradiction from Lio with my video, Lio Convoy Can't Stop Lying. But as you all know, Lio has continued to lie, meaning that video doesn't contain everything anymore. On top of the fact...
Yes, Ron, allow me to begin from the beginning here. So, Lio Convoy, I say Lio Convoy because I don't care. Lio Convoy is... He does, like, toy videos, I guess, is what he's most well known for. But he also will recreationally engage in online predator hunting, you know, where it's like you pretend to be like 16 years old in Discord and then people are being like pervy or whatever, and then you call them out and whatever. So he recreationally does pet hunting, but there's like a ton of drama around him and his community. Most notably that he adopts like Discord kids. He adopts like adult kids in Discord, and he also adopts like minor kids in Discord or whatever. And then he claims to have, you know, X dozen people have been arrested or whatever from his predator hunting, but he can't really point to anybody who's ever gotten in any kind of legal trouble for any of the he does. And most importantly, he has like a community. Like there's a couple big key dramas that you should know about. The first one is that there was a 15-year-old in his Discord server at one point, and the 15-year-old like threatened him in the Discord server, and then so he doxed the 15-year-old. Totally rational and reasonable response. And then the other one was there was a minor that he was in contact with who was being abused, and his solution to the kid being abused was he literally told the kid, put a camera up and record it. So that way, if they rape you, you have it on video. That was the coveted advice that he gave this minor that was being like fucking raped, was put up a camera and record it. And then there was like, I'm not saying this to be like a mean person. Obviously, I'm saying this with tact and with grace. There are a lot of people who are like intellectually disabled that are in his community, and he takes great joy in verbally berating and cussing out and, you know, just being fucking god awful to these people. And they are very evidently intellectually disabled. And he talked to them just in a way that I would not dream of ever speaking to anyone, never mind somebody who, you know, is disabled. It's pretty fucked. I don't know the full lore. I only know the Rosa call, so this is going to be very ruminating. Yeah, the Rosa call is really hard to listen to. That made my heart really sad. That one made my heart really sad because she, again, and I mean this with nothing but, you know, like love and respect. Like she obviously isn't like, she has like the cognitive capacity of like a toddler. And she has like a caretaker and a guardian, and the fact that he is willing to talk to her like that was really fucking depressing, very depressing. Yeah, Patchwork was from Lio Convoy's community. Patchwork was also in Lily Orchard's community before being stolen away by Poppy. So that's just kind of the, you know, the company that Lio chooses to keep.
The internet has made it my job to autistically over-explain and elaborate as to what these are. Predator hunters, or the more fitting name, predator poachers, are the internet's modern take on a special victims unit. Descriptors I personally like to apply are pseudo Chris Hansen, internet vigilante, Discord detective, so on and so forth. Individuals who take it upon themselves to enact vigilante justice, but these days, as of 2024, that's a bit generous to say.
I'm getting to that. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. So that's also your penis, right?
Oh yeah, there's 3 pictures.
I use AI to catch a predator on Discord. I made a fake female alt on Discord and used it to go predator fishing. And once I got one on the hook, he sent a selfie, which I ran through advanced facial recognition software to identify exactly who he is.
The former typically would be in a legit position of authority, law enforcement. Former EMS workers who've worked in collaboration with authorities, often partaking in sting operations. These stings would consist of setting up a fake underage decoy on the internet and sparingly engaging with only the most desperate predators that would take the bait. The end goal would be to lure the child predator to a house designated and monitored by law enforcement. The involvement of law enforcement is crucial due to the intricacies of forensic analysis. If evidence is gathered in an unconventional manner and unorthodox practices act crumbles, the risk of prosecution being in vain. Let me spell this out for you. Predators get to walk free. Now that brings us to current day. How has this changed over time? Well, given the famous Dateline NBC is no longer airing due to controversy I couldn't possibly explain in this video.
911, where you're reporting?
Hi.
I love this clip. I love it.
And they just showed up to my house.
I love this
And they're
clip.
outside now?
Yes, they're knocking on my door.
Okay. And do you know if they have any weapons?
They have a bunch of camera people. Like
I can't
they're
get
YouTube,
enough.
They're YouTube stalkers.
Okay. But no weapons seen?
I didn't see any weapons. I just saw like
Okay.
6 guys in my driveway, and one of them was knocking on my door.
And the one that's knocking on your door, is he the main one that you said isn't stalking you?
Yes, he's a stalker. He's yelling. He's yelling things at me through the door right now.
Okay. And what do we know
It's
his
Chris
name?
Hansen.
It's Chris Hansen.
The ability of these ops and people like Chris Hansen were brought into question, and they were deemed not only ineffective, but detrimental to any progress made towards removing dangerous criminals off the streets, and any attempts to rehabilitate said individuals has been significantly regressed. But not to be mistaken, this content has only served to inspire many neckbeards and window lickers to take these dangerous criminals to task, with today's subject being the epitome of them all.
Okay, so let's
I'm
go
part of that
back.
community. You want to know what community I'm in? The Boomer I'm in 2 communities. The Boomer cartoon community. I hunt files.
Oh, that's
Wow.
wonderful.
Lio Convoy is, I've changed my mind. I love how, like, cringe he is. I changed my mind, actually. I think that he's my new muse. I think that we found our next one, boys, because that was, like, the cringest shit I've ever heard in my entire life, and I'm here for it.
Those idiots.
Idiots, huh? Go ahead, tell me.
Rowan, that's literally what I said earlier. I would have to hang up because I would be laughing so fucking hard. Like, I too would be, if I was working and Onision called and was like, yeah, Chris Hansen's at my house, I think I would throw up from laughing so hard. It'd be horrible.
You know, stupid about that.
No, he is actually a pedophile hunter. He actually
he's a
hunts
real
down.
one. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have that a lot with quote-unquote pedophile hunters.
Most of them are idiots. Oh, I actually done child predation. Hence the kid down the hallway.
Not very likely. I'll let you know a little secret. Lio disowned me.
Barbie!
Yeah, I don't know his kid anymore.
Oh, hi. I go by Lio Convoy, and welcome to my channel. I know it's not very big yet, but I'm working on it. Want to know what my channel is about? Good question. Here it goes. The purpose of this channel...
This guy is like... Is anybody else getting, like, tipster vibes? Like, this is just so unbearably cringe. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. We do toy unboxing. What are the anime things that everybody does? Like we're unboxing today my Kakashi action figure. Like, I can feel the threatening auras through the screen. I know this bitch is sitting here in a fucking fedora. I can feel the energy, you guys. I can feel it. I can smell the sweat coming off of the racerback gaming chair that his sweaty ass fucking sits on probably more than 9 hours a day. You know, like it's like boxy. You're right. It's so millennial. It's like, I'm so random. Oh my god, guys, crazy goofy girl. Oh, Malcolm's being so crazy. You guys can't take me anywhere. Like, oh, it's so fucking cringe, dude. It's so fucking cringe. There's some kind of like dark riz at work here, and I can't pretend to claim to know how this dark riz works. It's a foreign concept to me. But there are girls out there who are like, oh my god, this is dreamy. And I worry for them. I pray for them.
to give my thoughts and opinions on various media. Why? Because you need to hear it, of course. John, it's 1:30.
No.
You need to get up.
Why?
If you don't, I'm going to hit you with these nunchucks.
Why?
Because friendship is about nunchucks.
Well,
Why would I go there? All I have to do is watch Macross and I'd already be there.
let me guess, you are live. Yep.
That's I'm not live at all. This is the problem I have with all you cocksucking idiots bringing up every time you beat with me. You drag the trauma of his
Bro.
outbreak gotcha on a guy you tried to help them. You are an unrepentant, immoral scumbag, and the better off the world would be if you turned yourself into a statistic tonight. Somebody just needs to lay hands on you, frankly. Like, you're so goddamn stupid. You don't care what he has done to these people. You don't care about the children he's straight on.
You are so goddamn stupid. There's nothing I love more than, like, somebody who's afraid to cuss. Like, I think that was probably my favorite cringe quality in tomfoolery, is where he'd be like, what the heck, guys? What the heck? There's no frickin' way. There's no frickin' way that that's frickin' real. You're frickin' kidding me. Ah, please.
You just think it's some sort of gotcha on me because I made you butthurt. Dick up with my family. Bring them in and see what happens.
Is this a Family Guy skit? Is this a Family Guy skit? Was anybody surprised that he had nunchucks? He looks like a nunchuck kind of guy. I could have guessed the nunchuck thing. Oh my god.
I'm literally sitting in here with 600 or 867 viewers, and after this, people are going to watch this video, and you're going to be the laughingstock you should be. I hope you like all the attention you're getting, Mr. Roast Game, because this is the most you've ever gotten in your entire miserable life. Maybe I ought to shove you in the freezer. We exposed Vita 4 days after we found out in 2020. It took you days to remove a child predator. Well, you knew
I think it was like
took you days?
probably
Days? It should have taken you 5 goddamn seconds! You
Oh
are
my
the most hateful piece of
God.
garbage I I ever knew. To gaslight you, you had to have intelligence to begin with, Mr. Intellectual, which is why you're scared to get in call, because you know I will rip your throat.
In light of the recent controversy involving Mama Max, the timing of this video couldn't have been any better. Working on this video for nearly a year, not only is the timing poetic, but eyes already seem to be on this very subject, with many sharing the discrepancies I've had for a while now. Today's video is long overdue, and we'll be talking about Thomas Guerrera, who most of you may know as a guy who calls himself Lio Convoy. The Lio Convoy channel, run by a 37-year-old Thomas Guerrera, had its humble beginnings talking about 80s cartoons, engaging in pedantic power-scaling debates over anime, video games, Star Wars, etc., soon branching out into the channel the bulk of you may know him as, a toy reviewer who dabbles into predator hunting. I say dabbles with the most obvious quotations because whenever his channel runs dry or stagnant from uploading toy or cartoon reviews, he coincidentally uploads 1, 2, 3, Jesus fuck Christ, 10 in recent memory, not counting live streams. And today we'll be discussing what's wrong with this picture, and believe me, there's a lot to unpack.
I hunt files.
Thomas Guerrera, or as most of you might know him by now, Lio Convoy.
You guys know the meme, and it's like the libertarian furry, and it's got like the big hammer, and it's like walking ominously, and it's like the last sight of many a commie, or something like that. You guys know what I'm talking about? That's Lio Convoy, like, the last sight of many an internet predator.
It was originally a toy reviewer and a active member in the Brony community. How did I manage to read that out without laughing? Okay. Not only is the premise of this content dangerous to produce, but its production creates many negative consequences for the victims. In fact, any outside involvement in vigilante activity only muddies the waters for the case. Any chat logs or evidence provided to the authorities by vigilantes is impossible to prove it wasn't doctored when it comes to forensic analysis. This makes anything forwarded to the police by any outside involvement completely admissible in court, and oftentimes will only serve as probable cause to launch an investigation on said individual. Not to mention, vigilantes with an extensive track record of activity are frequently investigated by the FBI for things like possession of child porn. Not to mention, the judge and jury have to bring into question the motives and intentions of not only the victims, but the vigilantes when social media and publicity are brought into the mix, which could also be used in favor of the defense. This is one of the many reasons why social media influencers will stay quiet about the details with any legal proceedings going on in the background until after the case has been settled. The vast majority of predator hunters on the internet have actually never confirmed whether their catches have been sent to jail because of their catch. And in Lio Convoy's case, he has gone on record to admit to having no confirmation to anyone he's caught being put behind bars, aside from an instance where he twisted the truth and the actuality was the predator was instead taken to jail for assaulting their mother in front of a police officer.
And as far as Joshua Vita goes, Cass was given that information, but here's the sad thing. All that would have happened if Cass was to have pursued Vita when we first outed him, Vita would have been at home in Cass's place. Vita loved using slurs. He loved getting people's attention like that. We wouldn't have done Cass any good. We did the best we could. We found out 3 days later we exposed him. We had to catch him off guard. We had to make sure his victim was safe because he was going to absolutely target her and still does to this day.
Damn,
heartbreaking. Yeah. We just passed the cops more information. We just got about a fourth victim. Now, granted, Josh is currently on probation for 29 months for computer crimes.
Now, the screenshot I showed prior to that clip proves everything.
I misremembered. I was wrong. This is what I was thinking about, where he's like, yeah, I have gotten somebody arrested before, so there is like merit to my online pedo hunting or whatever the fuck. But it was for something completely unrelated. But yeah, so like he called like a wellness check or something, and the dude like freaked out and either assaulted one of the cops, or I think he said just there that he assaulted his mom in front of the cop, which great idea. And that's what he got in trouble for. It wasn't, he didn't get in trouble for like any of the like pedo predator hunter shit or whatever. He got in trouble for computer crimes and then like assaulting his mom in front of a cop. So it's all just like mega cope. All mega cope. But he'll say that like I got him arrested, but it's like, well, I mean, technically you did, but like it was for something completely unrelated, because he got him arrested not for the pedo shit. He got him arrested for something completely unrelated. So I mean, like, technically, okay. Technically, I guess. Ugh.
Lio just said here was a lie, and it doesn't surprise me given the amount of performatism in this call. After looking at the public records, which the link to is included in the screenshot, we can see the specific charges that Joshua Vita has faced. That would be 4 counts of misdemeanor assault, not
for computer crimes.
But those of you watching at home might have realized there were many things in that small window of Lio speaking that ought to be addressed, and don't worry, I'm here to cover these.
And as far as Joshua Vita goes, we did the best we could. We found out 3 days later we exposed him. We had to catch him off guard. We had to make sure his victim was safe because he was going to absolutely target her and still does to this day.
Damn,
heartbreaking. Yeah. We just passed the cops more information. We just got about a 4th victim. Now, granted, Josh is currently on probation for 29 months for computer crimes.
So that was a lie.
So Lio Convoy in this call with Lagovert recorded by Pizza, a member of Lio Convoy's server. This call was apparently archived because they didn't want this out publicly, and I imagine for a reason. He states that he found out 3 days later about the activities of Vita, and I think I should stop putting this off. It's been long enough. Who is this person, this individual who goes by Vita?
Mentioned by 2 very good friends of mine, are currently working on a video going over Omnia's entire video because apparently, according to them, what they've told—
Whoops, wrong flashback. Right here, just, wrong event. We will be going over this. It's because it happens to coincide with the events we're going to talk about. Now, the correct flashback would be to 2020, about 3 years ago at the time of recording this video, and we are going to be looking at a person called For No Good Reason, or FNGR for short. Now, any well-versed Lio fan would recognize this instantly as a former associate of Lio Convoy. Anyone who's even more well-versed in Lio Convoy lore would know about a server called Barrel. Well, as it happens, Vita was a former member of Barrel. He was actually a former predator hunter, as Lio Convoy likes to call himself. The story goes that Vita allegedly groomed this person who went by Mintheart. Mintheart would later transition and start going by Jordyn. I managed to get in contact.
Oh, oh god, this is the one. This is the one where he was like, yeah, dude, just record yourself getting raped. Oh, it's trickling back to me. Oh god, this is fucked up.
Jordyn. But the person Lio keeps vaguely referring to is just Jordyn.
And as far as Joshua Vita goes, we did the best we could. We found out 3 days later we exposed him. We had to catch him off guard. We had to make sure his victim was safe because he was going to absolutely target her and still does to this day.
But let me stop my tangent here and let you listen to Jordyn himself.
So I met Thomas in 2018.
Thomas is Lio, by the way.
It was probably around March of that year when I met him, and it was following the Toon Critic situation in the My Little Pony community.
Okay. Would you be comfortable giving us sort of a brief background on what you were going through in your life when this happened?
Yeah, so what I was going through was dysfunctional family is the short way to say it. Me and my siblings didn't get along. Me and my mom were at each other's throats. I was undiagnosed depression and anxiety at the time, and it was just a mess, especially because I was also being groomed by Vita, so that it didn't help anything. It was just a lot. It was a lot. The relationship developed very slowly, or I guess kind of fast, depending on how you look at it. So we were acquaintances at best, leading up to 2020. After the Vita shit happened that year, early that year, about March, April, I was, I guess, kind of cast out of Senate, because Senate was a thing at that point, because I was sticking by Vita despite what he had done. And when I eventually came to my senses and went to talk to him after my birthday in June,
okay.
Then he took me.
Okay, so it was the mom's boyfriend, and then later on, Jordyn would be targeted by Ichabod and Vita. Okay, Vita was grooming Jordyn over the internet. The mom's boyfriend tried to touch Jordyn. They're different people. Okay, got it.
Under his wing, so we were never really friends or that close, leading all the way up into 2020, but come my
and then Lio told him to record it, then Vita groomed him, and then when Jordyn turned 18, he moved in with Lio.
birthday,
Electric chair!
Of that year, it kind of went a lot faster.
Jordyn's retelling sounds very reminiscent of the Lio we know today. This sort of suggests that we've been right about Lio Convoy all along, that he doesn't have the qualifications to act like an authority on these subjects, and he doesn't know what he's doing. Going by Lio's standards, this would be an unforgivable crime, but it doesn't make it any better that Lio selectively admits this when he thinks it might be convenient for him.
I'm not asking any predator hunter to be someone's psychologist or therapist. We're not made for that. We don't have that knowledge. We barely have the knowledge to do predator hunting.
According to Jordyn's testimony, it seems that Lio has always been playing this sort of side-picking game. And you would think if someone like Lio perceived Jordyn to be a victim of not only grooming but sexual assault, that a man well past his 30s would be able to set aside commentary antics.
And as far as Joshua Vita goes, we did the best we could. We found out 3 days later we exposed him. We had to catch him off guard. We had to make sure his victim was safe because he was going to absolutely target her and still does to this day.
In this very clip where Lio is talking about one of his former associates that would allegedly go on to groom Mintheart, Lio Convoy explains that they found out about these activities and 3 days later exposed him. Now the problem with this is if there was even an ounce of weight to the claims about Joshua Vita, Lio giving it publicity and farming it for drama content only contributed to the impossibility he was complaining about, that being Vita getting charged with any sort of sex crimes. And this isn't speculation. According to the testimony from the alleged victim themselves, that is exactly what happened. But I should specify one thing in particular. This testimony given to me by Jordyn had nothing to do with Joshua Vita. In fact, it had to do with the very reason Jordyn was involved in any of this. And so you said the cops wouldn't do anything. Was there skepticism trying to say, like, help you in that situation?
Yeah, so there's a couple things. So one, I was not raped. Rape requires penetration, and that did not happen. I was sexually abused, as the professionals put it when I talked to them. I was interviewed by like a like CPS. I don't remember exactly what they're called. DHS, like a Department of
DPS.
Humane Society, I think, or something like that.
Department of Public Safety.
So
True. Interviewed by the Humane Society, based.
So I talked, maybe I don't honestly remember. I for life I can't remember. But I did go to one of those official buildings. I did talk to people. They interviewed me. Because there was no penetration, no rape. It was incredibly hard to prove, and it would have been my word against his. And because it became this really big thing on the internet, the police did have reason to believe that it was all fake. And thus, because there was no proof, it was my word against his, and because they thought it might have just been for attention, but nothing was done about it.
Can I ask why it was a thing on the internet when you were trying to get help?
So I first told my friends about it because I didn't know how to react or how to feel. It was the middle of the night. I get woken up by him touching me in the middle of the night. 16. I'm scared. I'm confused. So I message my friends and I get told, well, let's make you a GoFundMe. Make a GoFundMe so that we can share it, so we can get you the hell out of there. And that's what I did. And because my location's there, my name's attached to it, all this information, that's pretty easy. It was pretty easy to find. And mandatory reporters were reporting it constantly to the police. I actually got visited by the police, and they came to ask me to take it down because they were getting so many reports from mandatory reporters.
Who were the friends?
So that's why they
still friends.
There's a lot of people I told.
Okay.
No, there's a lot of people that I'm not in contact with anymore. But
I believe
one of the first few people I told.
I was just curious if, like, before you, I don't expect you to list them off because you said you're not in contact with them anymore. But one of them was Vita, right? Because I heard that Vita was the one who made the GoFundMe.
Well, no, I made the GoFundMe, but he was given the access to it, which then he passed off to Lio because he didn't want the responsibility. So the person who I could be wrong about this because this all happened on Skype and those logs are gone at this point. But I believe the person who told me to make it in the first place was this Anthropony. I could be wrong about this because this is a long time ago and those logs are dead. It's Skype is shit. I think it was him who told me to make it.
It was the very vigilante involvement that Lio not only continues to partake in regardless, but even takes pride in, that starved this situation of justice. Mintheart was not removed from the situation to protect them from Vita. Mintheart was actually moved in with Lio because Mintheart was prior to this living in Nebraska at the age of 18, all by their lonesome, whilst being suicidal. So you said that it was then passed on to Lio?
Yeah, Vita gave it to Lio.
I heard you raised a pretty hefty sum with that money. Was that money ever used in any way to try and get you up on your feet and independent, or was that kind of just the reimbursement for taking you in when you turned 18?
No, I used it to move me from Oregon to Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
And be situated there.
Okay, and then why did you have to move from Nebraska to Texas?
Because I tried to kill myself, and Lio did not want me living alone in a state where I knew nobody. So he wanted me in Texas where he could keep an eye on me and make sure I was safe.
Speculation.
But this is just it's so weird. It's so weird. When Barbie was talking to Lio Convoy, this was actually a really good point that Barbie brought up. We love Barbie. Claps in chat for Barbie, okay? Barbie brought up the idea that, like, one of the big things as far as engaging in any of this kind of shit, even if you're just doing it, this sounds horrible, even if you're just doing it as like a hobby on YouTube or whatever, which you shouldn't, but people do. Anyway, that, like, professionalism is actually really important in all of that still, where, like, if you have a really close tie to the people that you're helping and that, like, clouds your judgment, there's a reason, that, like, therapists don't become like roommates with their clients. There's a reason that your doctor doesn't go out to get like drinks with you after you go for your like monthly checkup. There's a reason why, you don't follow your lawyer on Snapchat and like shit like that, right? Like, there has to be some kind of boundary. And when you're really personally involved in something, it just is like inappropriate for you to like facilitate that. Like, if Lio was concerned about Jordyn like being alone, not having anybody to live with, and being suicidal and what have you, that's a really great opportunity for you to find some resources for Jordyn in the area that they were in at the time. That it doesn't mean, hey, come and live with me, smiley face. It's like, let's try and get you on your feet. There's plenty of things that I can do other than, play pretend like dad. That's like super fucking weird. That's like very, very weird. Like, because there are a plethora of resources for people like this. And if Lio even kind of knew what he was doing, even just like a little bit, even if he was just like very mediocre at it, he would be able to get Jordyn resources where Jordyn was at, so Jordyn didn't have to go and live with this fucking creepy dude that he knew over the internet, who literally told him to record himself getting fucking raped for evidence. Like, again, hello, 911 electric chair. Like, Jesus Christ.
Aside about the ethics of a nearly 40-year-old man moving a suicidal teenager in with him that outside of the internet had no real connection to.
It was his idea for me to move in with him. He had brought it up as a possible solution when I was going through this stuff with my mom and her ex-boyfriend. But that wouldn't have been until after I turned 18, and it wasn't talked about again until after I turned 18, and I was looking into moving out. He wanted me in Texas so he could keep an eye on me and make sure I was being safe. But I moved out alone for the first time. And then in March of 2021 again, and I moved to Texas, kind of request/insistence. What made the idea of adoption appealing to me is the fact that I come from a very shitty home. Like I said, my siblings and I didn't get along. My mom and I weren't getting along. I felt very alone in how I felt and just not okay. My dad isn't in the picture, so I don't have a father. And I didn't have any strong father figures. And to me, because Lio was the only, in my eyes, sane adult around, he seemed like the best the best choice, and he presented himself as this moral, good father figure that I could look up to, that would care for and support, support.
Well, as explained in the first clip of Jordyn's testimony, Lio Convoy, again, did not move Mint Hart in with him in order to protect them from Joshua Vida. In fact, it's explained by Jordyn not only once, but twice in both of the interviews I've done with them that Lio wanted absolutely nothing to do with them and made no real efforts to help them.
The relationship developed very slowly, or I guess kind of fast depending on how you look at it. So we were acquaintances at best, leading up to 2020. After the Vida shit happened that year, early that year, about March, April, I was, I guess, kind of cast out of Senate, because Senate was a thing at that point, because I was sticking by Vida despite what he had done. And when I eventually came to my senses and went to go talk to him after my birthday in June, then he took me under his wing. So we were never really friends or that close, leading all the way up into 2020, but come my birthday, so June of that year, it kind of went a lot faster.
All the while in current day, going around bad-mouthing the mother of Jordyn.
Now here's the context. A minor who went by the name of Mint Hart was touched in their home. This was taken to their school, their mother, and the police. The perpetrator was their mom's ex-boyfriend. None of the groups I mentioned did anything about it. Not the police, not the school, and their mother even let the creep stay the night after she knew what he did.
And over the last few years, giving himself
that's kind of
anything about the situation with Jordyn, whilst admitting that he did nothing and could do nothing about Jordyn's situation.
Mint was worried he was going to get back a third night and had no options. No friends to stay with, no shelters that would keep them. So the only thing anyone could think of was setting up surveillance so if something did happen, Mint could send it to the police. Mint.
Literally, I can't imagine, like, short of a traumatic brain injury, in what world your solution to helping somebody who you know is about to be, like, fucking raped for you to be like, well, just record it. Like, again, short of, like, a traumatic fucking brain injury or something dropped on your head, I don't... What the fuck? What the actual fuck? And never mind just to, like, have it as a passing thought, but, like, to say it out loud and, like, earnestly suggest it. Like, what the fuck? What the hell, bro?
Not me, not anyone else. And on top of that, it was an idea. It's not something they went through with, because thankfully they didn't need to.
Just felt the need to interject here. The reason they didn't need to is because the prior that Lio just said was a bit misleading. It wasn't that nobody did anything or tried to help Mint Hart, it's that they couldn't, due to involvement from people like Lio Convoy, the existence of the GoFundMe. But I will show screenshots up on screen of Jordyn clarifying that this wasn't their idea, they were in fact coerced.
Well, yeah, because I did make it. I really didn't want to. And I regret it now. I was just a scared teen. I didn't know what else to do. What they were advising me to do. They said I should get emancipated, and I did go talk to people about that, but I never did because my mom kicked out the guy and said it'd be better. It said she would be better, and she was, at least, respected when I told them I was not going to film that happening to put myself at risk. Instead, I slept in my room and avoided him as much as possible.
By these internet vigilantes, and not only that, Mint Hart wasn't the one who made the GoFundMe. So in actuality, Mint Hart had no control over whether this GoFundMe was taken down. In Jordyn's retelling of these events, their mother was on top of it immediately, and there was no mention of the boyfriend staying another night, but instead, Jordyn being safe behind a locked door, that being their room, while they waited for the boyfriend to come collect his stuff and leave.
All works. How exactly are we supposed to lock these people up? We filed reports to the police. That's literally the most we can do on a legal end.
Remember this one.
We had to catch him off guard. We had to make sure his victim was safe because he was going to absolutely target her, and still does to this day.
Note that he claims to keep Jordyn safe, but then immediately contradicts this statement by saying that they were still targeted by Vida to that very day.
Oh, trust me.
Apparently he is on vacation right now. Even though he's still messaging in the server, apparently he's on vacation.
Oh no, trust me. I know how that feels because I'm inundated with this stuff 24/7. After that video dropped, I've had 6 people DM me about them being preyed on. I don't do this for some asinine idea of clout. Most of my predator hunting, most of it, believe it or not, is quiet.
The reality of this situation...
It's so quiet that we make YouTube videos about it. Curious. Oh, you guys, he's so virtuous. Wow. He doesn't do it for clout. He doesn't do it for clicks. He doesn't do it for views. He does it out of the goodness of his heart. Wow. That's crazy. How many videos of these does he have up on his channel? Hello? Can I get a live counter? Like, the most true thing in the entire world, and I'll scream this from the rooftops until I die. If you really do something, like, selflessly, out of the goodness of your heart, you do it without an expect in return. The people that record themselves giving homeless people food and shoving, like, a GoPro in their face, are you grateful that I just fed you, peasant? Those people aren't good people. They just want to be perceived as good people. And so they're pretending that they're good people by performatively giving homeless people food. They probably wouldn't give the homeless people food if they didn't get social media back scratches for being good, selfless, you know, helpful people. And this is the same thing. If you really, 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 really gave a fuck about it, one, you would do it with integrity. You would make sure that it was done correctly, so it wouldn't be all fucked up and no legal repercussions would come. And two, you wouldn't be monetizing the fuck out of it, because like Kumo says at the very beginning of this video, and it's true, and if you guys don't believe me, go to Lio's YouTube channel right now. Every time that his views take a big fat nosedive, what kind of videos is he uploading to boost his algorithm and boost his engagement? It's predator hunting videos. Because he knows those get the clicks. He knows that everybody loves watching these videos, and he loves getting jerked off endlessly about how cool and selfless and righteous he is for saving all the children of the world and whatever. Like, that's why he does it. He doesn't do it to like, if he really, really, really cared, and he was like, this is my passion in life, okay, then go and work for, like, the state. Go work for, like, social services or something. Maybe, like, get off your fat ass and run a few fucking laps around your house and go and apply and be a cop then. Like, if this is your life's calling, if this is your passion, is liberating the raped, the molested, the neglected, the abused, okay, then actually fucking do something that doesn't just, like, help you out financially and monetarily and for clout. Like, I don't know, like, maybe you should actually, like, give a fuck. That's just a thought. That's just a thought, guys. It's just a thought.
Is it couldn't be further from the truth. Lio is often too busy playing Among Us and baby talking peaches in a Discord call at least 15 hours a day. There have been complaints ad nauseum that Lio Convoy, when reached out to, can't do anything for these people. Myself included. I've tried to reach out to Lio Convoy a very long time ago, long before I was ever removed from the Senate, blackballed from the community. Lio Convoy actually does not handle predation cases. Lio Convoy does not help victims. Aside from stalking, doxing, harassing, and getting these people in calls to badger them and upload it to his YouTube content farm, Lio Convoy does claim that the only thing he can do is assist victims in making police reports and telling their parents. Not only something that is probably taught to every child in a fucking school assembly, but you can learn the latter through a simple Google search or a YouTube video. There are plenty of these. Hell, I can link some of them in the description if you genuinely don't know. You don't need to go to Lio Convoy directly to get this sort of information. But the real reason why people go to Lio Convoy is this sort of clout factor. They want publicity. Lio Convoy discovers what Vita was up to behind the scenes. Well, he found out 3 days later and he exposed him. Now, if I'm being entirely honest with you, I've never exposed anybody with no intentions of gaining personally. Well, I know I personally had the noble intentions of exposing the subject and getting more people aware about this so they could steer clear of, say, individuals like Carmen Ryder or Brion. I've never once claimed that what I did actually did anything to sort of find justice for this situation. The difference between a guy like me, who since from the age of 17 has made videos, very few, exposing people for very serious shit with the intentions of people in those circles or people who have been oblivious or ignorant to these facts, that they can steer clear of this and keep themselves out of legal trouble and possibly even out of danger. What I don't do is take credit from actual professionals and people who do go out of their way and get shit done. To make sure this statement is complete, I am insinuating that that is just what Lio Convoy does.
And I cannot tell you how excruciatingly heartbreaking it is to have to tell some of these kids, I'm sorry, but if you can't tell your parents and can't call the police, I can't help you. And I live.
Then what is your skill level or expertise here? Like, what are you adding to it? If you can't help them, then what are you even doing? You're literally just doing it for clout and views and to be like faux virtue and shit. Like, you're the internet's best pedophile hunter. And you can't help the children who are being predated on. You're so good at your job, in heavy air quotes here, but you can't help the people who are coming to you for help to try and get out of situations where they're being predated upon. Very interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. Very interesting.
With that every single day. It is draining. It is exhausting.
When a guy like Lio Convoy...
I want this guy to be a voice actor. Like, I feel like I'm listening to an anime supervillain, like, give a speech. You know, he's like, and it is just so disheartening. It's like, is it now? it's so cringy. Help.
Puts it like this, you know, it would be believable that it's draining and exhausting, and someone with a good heart, with good intentions, might genuinely be heartbroken by this fact. Problem is, Lio Convoy is not actually heartbroken by this fact. He's actually completely fucking unbothered. In fact, he goes about his daily life, having fun, messing around on the internet, and does this sort of as a hobby. Need I substantiate any of this? Well, I don't know. Look at the bulk of the guy's content. The bulk of the guy's content is playing with and building toys on his channel and talking about cartoons. When he's
true.
not doing that, as I said, he can be seen baby talking Hopeless Peaches or playing video games with Hopeless Peaches. And by the off chance that Lio Convoy is bored and needs a little spice in his day or even week, he will get into a Discord call and scream his head off at someone until he's about to have an aneurysm. Yes, I'm not joking. There's a clip out there of Lio Convoy damn near having a heart attack screaming at a neurodivergent person.
Is that the Rosa call? Is that the Rosa call? Because that call, again, was something to bear witness to. That shit was crazy. That shit was unhinged, dude. I don't know, like, where the fuck people get off, like, talking to people like that. Like, I just, oof, it was quite horrible.
Now, this is something I frequently allude to in this video, and it's something I haven't really elaborated on and have just said in passing, so I'll go ahead and clear it up here. Lio Convoy sort of asserts himself as this moral authority, and I'm not just asserting this baselessly. Lio Convoy has gone on record to say many times in every situation that he is morally correct, even in situations where he objectively can't be, couldn't be, there's not even a iota of a chance that he could be. Reason being, the very same person who goes around parading himself about how much he has to protect the children, how much he does for victims, has no problem calling the school of a 15-year-old, telling them that that kid is planning up to shoot up his school, suggesting that
This was so deranged and unhinged, in my opinion. This was so fucking crazy to hear with my God-given ears. Imagine getting in a fight with like a 15-year-old and you're like, I'm gonna ruin this kid's life for fucking ever. Like, this is the guy who cares very much as well, you guys, about the well-being and you know, all of that shit of children, right? He is so thoughtful, so careful. He just is so concerned with the well-being of children. But if the hypothetical children in question are rude to him on Discord VC, he will dox them and try to ruin their fucking life. So virtuous. He's so selfless. He's so selfless. He's literally like the male Mother Teresa. He really is.
It's to ruin his life, all because he couldn't get a leg up on him in an internet argument. Now, ironically enough, this is something similar to what one of my first commentary beefs was. It was when two kids, mind you, kids, teens, preteens, whatever, drew very poorly crude dicks in MS Paint to f with each other. And Lio decides to intervene because he's Lio?
I'm involved because I choose to.
In the previous video I made discussing the habitual hypocrisy of Lio Convoy, I discussed his weird obsession with bullying minors. The most egregious thing when it comes to bullying children that Lio has done is a video that was actually uploaded by Queen Serafina. In this video, you have two 15-year-olds that were bickering with one another because apparently one sent porn to the other.
Well, you think scared you?
Oh, you probably should yet.
I should be. Give me a few reasons.
Well, number one, I can figure out very quickly where a kid lives by their photo, and I'm pretty sure you probably got one running around.
Oh, yeah, you come to my house. I live in a gang neighbor and I've done so.
No, I'm not
Well,
worried about you. Hey, retard.
So he jumps in and immediately is trying to intimidate the kid, is talking about getting the kid's address. The kid, who by the way is complete cringe like every other 15-year-old, rightly assumes that means that Lio is starting to come to his house. And to be very clear here, if that was said to me, I would assume exactly the same thing. So I can't really blame the 15-year-old here.
You literally threatened me. Look,
I'm involved because I choose to. You
come to my house, I'll put a bullet in your skull. Just say.
You're not going to put anything anywhere. Your airsoft guns don't scare me, son. Sit down and be quiet.
I actually have guns, fucktard.
I'm not worried about some dumb 15-year-old making threats about firearms. If I want to ruin your life, I'll just call your school and tell them you made the threat. You won't get anywhere in life. You want to play this game? We can play that game.
So after Lio heavily implies that he's going to go to that kid's house, the kid threatens violence, which is actually not totally insane, because if I was 15 and some guy who's almost 40 is threatening me, I'd probably make the exact same cringe threats, but whatever. Point is, he goes from that to jumping to talking about calling the kid's school. Lio opens with, you should be scared of me, I can get your address. Who's really the one responsible for the provocation in this scenario is definitely not the 15-year-old.
Oh, yeah, say it to my fucking face.
You are. You want me to be in your house? Okay, cool. That's what we're going to do. Dreadful Jacks.
This is just like a Call of Duty lobby. This is just Call of Duty, guys. This is just a 2012. This is a 2012 Call of Duty lobby. That's all this is. And again, I would assume, and you guys, I'm not even like 45. Okay, so it's crazy that I have this much more emotional control, I guess. If a 15-year-old says something like fucking crazy, you're just like, okay, like, do you like, when I was 15, I said stupid shit all the time. Like, who didn't? Like, it is your right as a teenager to be cringe and say dumb shit. That's like the whole point of being a teenager. So the fact that like he comes in here and he's like freaking the fuck out because they said something like cringe or weird, and then he's like, I'm gonna fucking find out who you are from your picture, and then if you keep acting up, I'm gonna like call your school and fucking report you for threatening me. Like, I would have loved to be a fly on the wall for that phone call. Like, I would have loved to be present, like, Sarah and John just got done doing their grocery shopping at Trader Joe's, and they come home in their little fucking minivan and they unload the groceries and they let their golden retriever outside in their HOA manicured lawn to play, you know, and then the phone rings and they answer the phone and this mouth breathing fuck is on the other end of the phone going, your kid, as he's like struggling to fucking breathe through each breath, your kid, Jonathan Doe, he threatened me on a Discord call. He said that he was gonna shoot me, and I wanted to make sure that you were aware that I'm an anime villain, and I am gonna press charges. I would love to be there for that. I would love to be there for that. What I wouldn't pay for box seats for that interaction, dude. That would have been fire. Oh, I wish.
He was pulled into call independently, not given any roles, to try to get him to stop beefing with some other dumb kid. I hop in the call and Jax loses his mind.
Fucking funny, man. You have no balls.
Jax, shut up! Threatens to shoot me, threatens to do all this.
Lio.
Do you think I'm scared of you? No, but you should be. He's like literally 1 micro nanosecond away from doing the what does Christian do? The curse Yehamihas? I bet he's done that. He's so close. He's gonna go curse Yehamihas like it's some fucking like 10-year-old in a fucking Discord call. Ah! You should be scared of me, Padawan. Please, guys, this is so much.
Should be. Give me a few reasons.
Well, number one, I can figure out very quickly where a kid lives by their photo. Couldn't call his parents because they're deaf, and I'm pretty sure you probably got one running around.
Oh yeah, you come to my house. I live in a gang neighborhood and I have guns, so.
Would you like gets away?
It wasn't against the school threatening people with information. That's literally blackmail. What Coda did was still fucking wrong and could have put a kid in danger. Never mind the other shit that Coda did. And then how is it any better given the full context? And then Lio says it was him talking about being in gangs and owning guns. He's such a fucking baby. You're scared. Okay, you're scared of a 15-year-old on a Discord call that said that if you come to my house, I have a gun.
With this nonsense. No, I'm not every So instead I called a school. Because as you know, Pizza, we live in the United States of America, where school shootings are pretty common.
That's so fucked up. That is so fucked up. That is so fucked up. Oh my god. Like, we live in a country where there's mass shootings regularly. Yeah, so let's scare the fuck out of everybody. Because some random fucking kid on Discord was like, if you try to come to my house, I have a gun. Which, by the way, I think is like kind of a rational thing to say if some fucking weird freak on the internet is saying that he can like find out where you fucking live. Imagine being like 15 years old and some fucking mouth breathing loser like comes into the Discord call and is like, I can find out where you live, little boy. And you're just like, what the like, is that not who amongst us would not say some unhinged shit in response to that? Crazy, dude.
You literally threatened me. Look,
I'm involved because I choose to. You
come to my house, I'll put a bullet in your skull. Just say.
You're not going to put anything in anywhere. Your airsoft guns don't scare me, son. Sit down and be quiet.
I actually have guns. Hard.
I'm not worried about some dumb 15-year-old making threats about firearms. If I want to ruin your life, I'll just call your school and tell them you made the threat and you won't get anywhere in life. You want to play this game, we can play that game. And the last thing I want is to have this idiot pop off his mouth about how he's been in gangs and how he's hurt people and how he has guns.
Literally, are the gangs in the room with us right now?
Do nothing, only to find out, the kid went psycho and killed people.
What a fucking loser.
Get his choking hands ready.
Didn't he say something like he and his wife pack heat? Does that mean that we can call the police for threats? Apparently that's a threat. I'm fascinated by his mind. I'm fascinated by his mind. A 45, like, full-grown man sees two 15-year-olds arguing in Discord and was like, now's my time to shine. Like, this is, like, worse than peaking in high school, dude.
Well, that takes some context first. A year ago, there was some drama regarding a content creator named Hopeless Peaches, a young female Sonic enthusiast that had an entire cavalcade of...
A young female. I'm becoming the Joker.
Sonic screams, hop out of the woodworks and paint her as the worst of people. What did Peaches do to seemingly deserve this? Did she kill somebody? Did she diddle a kid? Did she commit tax evasion? No, and here's where a content warning comes in for my fellow boomers that make up the majority of my viewership. I'm asking you to mentally prepare for the stupidity, because most of us have jobs, families, and bills to worry about, and I don't want you to have an aneurysm over this when you realize how dumb it is. Here's what she did. She corrected one portion of grammar in a script criticizing an acquaintance.
We found out that HP was involved in that horrid script with JAR, and I saw my friend feel betrayed, get a mental breakdown because of it. I agreed to help fact check their script. They used the wrong there.
Allegedly was a bad friend in some cases, and talked about her mental health issues on Twitter. Yeah, you feel that headache coming on? That's your brain trying to understand how soft someone's life must be in order to think these things are worth losing your minds over and trying to ruin someone's life. And for those of you who are going to try to say this isn't an attempt at life ruining, shove it. I'm not here to listen to your apology on your own stupidity. Video after video.
Shove it, nerds.
Calling her a bitch, a liar, and a backstabber is not a crime. In fact, Hopeless Peaches even needing to have a segment in this video is a problem on its own. You see, this would have stopped and this wouldn't have been discussed if it was just you white knighting for Hopeless Peaches, but you couldn't stop it just having your head up her ass. You had to adopt her too. You see, the story goes that Lio Convoy had met Hopeless Peaches amidst her drama, and because of what was going on with Vita and Beryl, he did not do anything about it. Not that he was really obligated to, but I suppose their relationship begins because they made friends and amends over a broken promise or an empty promise that Lio had made. Now, when I'm sitting here talking about the relationship between Lio Convoy and Hopeless Peaches, I'm not actually here to entertain any of the speculation as to whether their relationship is romantic or not. I think they give everyone enough fuel to speculate anyway.
In fact, let's unpack that a bit. Let's assume that Peaches and I are in some sort of relationship. I mean, we're not, but let's assume. Why would that be an issue for Zay? Oh yeah, Zay has a pattern of wanting info about someone's sex life.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. So first and foremost, this particular clip is very performative. He even goes on to act like he has some kind of like shivers going down his spine.
Peaches is an adult, and frankly, doesn't call me daddy. Ugh.
But we all know full and well the fact that he can baby talk and be really suggestive with Peaches is indicative of that not being the case. And furthermore, the fact that he could even entertain an idea like this despite it not even being presented in Zay's video is actually a sign of projection. It's something that Lio likes to accuse others of doing very frequently. Something I feel important to mention is that this interjection is in response to Zay, formerly known as Kai Weiss.
These people were all sick weirdos.
Look at yourself. Look at your daddy. Pull up a mirror. You're a weirdo too. And again, I've been saying it.
Zay sure likes to sexualize things a lot. I'm noticing a pattern here. In fact, let's unpack that a bit. Let's assume that Peaches and I are in some sort of relationship. I mean, we're not, but let's assume. Why would that be an issue for Zay? Oh yeah, Zay has a pattern of wanting info about someone's sex life, made up or not. They're just that level of desperate for dirt.
An effeminate queer black male who referred to Lio as Peaches' daddy. Now, if you've ever had any seasoning on your chicken, or I don't know, maybe if you just aren't a pretentious racist liberal, you would probably understand that Zay was just being sassy here. There was no sexual connotation, and the amount of times that people accuse Lio of having a sexual relationship with Peaches is quite few and far in between. So that begs the question I haven't even asked yet. Why would Zay, calling you Peaches' daddy, have any relevance to him trying to dig up information on her sex life? It's almost like you're insinuating that your relationship with Peaches has anything to do with her sex life. I'm having way too much fun with this.
Peaches is an adult, and frankly, doesn't call me daddy. Ugh.
Now, frankly, we wouldn't be here talking about Peaches and Lio if all they had going on between them was, that they're a bit fucking weird. In fact, we're only talking about them right now because if Lio had a right-hand man, it would be Peaches. If Lio had a handler, it would be Peaches. If Lio had a #1 influence in terms of his actions and his behaviors, it's probably more than likely 9 times out of 10, Peaches. You see, Hopeless Peaches has gone on record multiple times to lecture Lio and convince him to make decisions that otherwise he wouldn't have stood by. And I'm so proud of myself for structuring the video in this manner because I get to explain that without even focusing on Hopeless Peaches directly.
Oh look, your favorite's in the chat. We can go.
Where'd you go off?
Go on.
Oh, Kumo.
Yeah.
What did...
Look at these silly adults in productive conversation. I work more than you do, boy, and I don't make people cut themselves. October 23rd.
Wait, Kumo's...
What?
Wait, hold on. Kumo's saying...
Wait, what did he just say? What did he say?
Your favorite's in the chat. We can go.
Where'd you go off?
Go on.
Oh, Kumo.
Yeah.
What did...
Look at these silly adults in productive conversation. I work more than you do, boy, and I don't make people cut themselves. October 23rd.
Wait, Kumo's... Wait, hold on. Kumo's saying, look at these silly, really productive adults contributing to our society when they're literally a dumbass who came to you crying because they were caught making girls cut themselves.
I'm not gonna lie, bro.
What?
Bitches need to shut up.
What? What is happening?
Kumo,
What did I
also,
come back
haven't you been
into?
haven't you been going, instead of, contributing to society yourself, haven't you been going into different servers trying to spam documents about me and videos about me and now making thumbnails for someone who owns a load of zoo porn?
Yes, that's
What?
You like hanging out with zoo files for some reason. Whoopsie.
Yeah, Kumo loves a zoo file.
A little background behind this clip in terms of what I was doing
Yeah,
and how I
background
even
would be
got
good,
myself
yes.
into this little mess to begin with. I had coincidentally been doing my research for my Lio video, meaning I was watching Lio videos, and in the play next, it showed me that Lio was actually streaming. Even more context is that my video on Hopeless Peaches that has been archived and will be linked in the description had been falsely struck by likely none other than Hopeless Peaches herself. The reason being, the timestamp I got was a clip of Peaches being an ass, not me. So naturally, I'm curious as to what the fuck they're even doing in this live stream together, and I'm met with these two baby talking each other.
By nature are good. Anyways.
Ooh, what is that? A ducky, a ducky, a ducky, a duck, a duck, a duck, a duck. Eat the shit out of me, Daddy.
So those of you who know me and been watching my content for a while, I'm actually pretty smug sometimes, especially when someone I don't like is embarrassing themselves. So I left this very innocent but ambiguous comment in their live stream chat, and it states as follows: "Look at these silly willy productive adults contributing to our society. cat face. Now, something Peaches absolutely fucking hates me for is she calls me arrogant and narcissistic, neo-Nazi, racist, homophobic, transphobic. Wait, that's off topic. Well, anyway, Peaches thinks I'm just an arrogant ass, and that's because I've expressed to Peaches in the Senate before that I'm just fucking smarter than her, and she's like, you think you're just better than everyone, don't you? Coyote Lovely also expressed this sentiment, to which Peaches had this grudge start with me because I simply explained, no, Peaches, you just don't set the bar very high. Now, someone who's addicted to the attention and status they get from being a victim all the time, whilst simultaneously being arrogant themselves and having a god complex. Well, someone like that, I'm referring to Hopeless Peaches, it didn't sit well with her, and she's, ever since then, definitely had a grudge against me. And not that I mind it, but what I do mind is when you make egregious claims like this. What's the deal with Kumo?
And has helped me find a way to move forward and accept the truth. With Dr. Spinell's help, I have come to accept what really happened in September at the Martin family residence. I accept that what happened was not the result of any supernatural phenomena, you say that, but rather the desperate actions of a young girl driven to violence by her dogmatic parents and old church rituals that are thought to drive out evil. I am happy to report that, since accepting the truth, my nightmares have ceased, and I am contingent upon follow-up appointment with Dr. Spinell in the future. Sincerely, John Ward.
What?
Momo, true. Peaches is the keyboard ASMR champion.
Is everybody okay right now? What the fuck is going on?
Kumo asked a girl to cut his name into her leg and frame the bloody handkerchief. I banned him from the Senate, and now he hangs out with zoophiles who talk about raping me. Now, those of you in my audience who've been keeping up with my live streams already know what the answer is, but
Oprah Winfrey, help me, Tom Cruise, what is happening?
Passing before and never had a chance to look into it, well, because there is literally nothing to back it. Well, you in particular might be wondering, well, Kumo, all this shit in this video is pretty damning, but is what they're saying true? I mean, I might have to disregard everything you just said if it's true. Well, rest assured, buddy, it's not true whatsoever. Ever. You see, the zoophiles that I'm being accused of befriending are people that go by or went by the Fox Mafia. And a little background on the Fox Mafia. Well, I'm not going to sit here and explain the lore on them because I do have a video planned on them in the future. But the Fox Mafia was run by someone who goes by or went by Cass Warfox. I like to call him Cass Warfart, so that's what we're going to call him for the rest of this video. But Cass Warfart was actually very responsible for the exposing of Coyote Lovely. That thing that Hopeless Peaches and Lio like to give themselves credit for, even though, like, they knew about Coyote's bullshit 8 months in advance and didn't say anything until this stream happened. Anyway, Cass Warfart also happened to be one of Lio's biggest detractors. Cass Warfart and Lio Convoy. You could go as far as to say they were like each other's arch nemesis. They had been beefing for like years at this point. Now, I have my opinions on Cass, and I think he deserves his own video, just because he's also a pretentious piece of garbage, and he's also somehow more of a pussy than Lio. Well, anyway, I kind of already had the background on these guys.
Quite the accusation.
One of my admins was in both the Senate and Fart Mafia, so I already had the gist of it, that these people were just Senate 2.0, and I already went into this with a closed mind, but I realized, these guys fucking hate each other. I feel like if I get these ones to trust me and think that I'm gonna help them, they'll give me literally everything they've compiled on Lio, because at this point, it's been
a double
proven
agent.
by looking at the shit they post that they are autistic and obsessive about the Senate. So, I mean, who better to give me sources? Who better to give me shit to look into? I mean, I can proofread it on my own and determine what's real and what's not, and I'm very capable of thinking for myself. Foreshadowing, not even foreshadowing, spoiler, the Fox Mafia didn't like that very much. Well, that's aside from the point. Let me get back on track. I made it my mission to completely social engineer and manipulate the Fox Mafia into pretty much doing all of the hard work for me for my video. That means digging up clips, screenshots, organizing them all, and putting them in a fucking Google Drive for me so that I didn't actually continue doing all the digging on Lio myself. Insane. Now, where the work comes in is organizing this and actually constructing the project itself. I think I saved myself probably another 5 months of work just by using these idiots. Now, there's something else I should mention. The Fox Mafia and we're not friends. We're not friends. We are not friends. I was not associated with them, technically. I mean, I was in their spaces, but I wouldn't say that I was friends or associates with them. I just used them. It was actually more abusive than anything, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. You see, and not only that,
okay, Giga Chat.
Came into my live chat recently, because yes, guys, this video is kind of being recorded as everything's going down. I'm sorry. At least the end portions are being recorded as everything's going down. But Vash Lancet came into my live chat to literally corroborate what I've been saying on my live stream, that I was not friends with any of them, and in fact, I was a massive dick to everyone in that server. If you still don't buy it, let me just go ahead and confess that every time I spoke to Cass Warfox in a voice chat, I made it a point to tell him to kill. And I also made it a point to emphasize how serious I was when I said it. So this notion that I was ever friends with these
what the fuck?
Which unfortunately, guys, we can't even take any of the claims they make against the Fox Mafia seriously, given that not only do they lie in the claims they make about Fox Mafia, but just the amount of lying they've done up to this.
I also have like no idea who half these fucking people are. I'm just here for the ride. I'm just here for the ride, really.
Point.
Before we continue, first Doodle. Hello, hi. I see that you're upset with the video that was made, and particularly, Firstie's upset with you doxing their real name on Facebook and putting a 5-year-old innocent little girl in danger over internet drama. Thoughts?
Thoughts number one, doxing is releasing the private information. Your Facebook is literally linked to your screen name.
And I would like to say as well, if you make a video, especially one how long was it? But it was like it was like nearly 10 minutes of just Fursky literally talking about all the ways that they'd like me to be sexually assaulted. If your real name is linked to you talking in graphic detail about wanting to assault women, that's probably because in the real world, if you go around and talk about the graphic detail in which way you want to sexually assault a person or have that happen to them, that's called sexual harassment and can, the police can be called upon you and be spoken about. I know that online it's very hard for you to understand because you hide behind a furry with a bib, but in the real world, people don't like that, and usually people frown upon that, actually. It's something that you shouldn't do. So,
yeah, I agree with all of that, yeah.
Thank you so much, Hopeless Peaches.
Novel, I also just work here. I don't know, bud.
I think we were all having doubts. We didn't know what everyone else thought about sexual harassment. Well, now we know that if you sexually harass someone, that society frowns upon that. And as much as I would love to get into the forensics of this particular clip and explain to you why her language is indicative of lying, namely the latter part of her tangent that literally went nowhere, it just kind of unorganically segued into a tangent about sexual harassment bad. I'm showing you this as sort of an example of the lies they tell about the Fox Mafia and why I'm so skeptical of everything they say. Because if these people really were this bad, I don't know why you would need to make shit up like this. So, unfortunately, a Senate-adjacent person made a rookie mistake, and his mistake was contextualizing this particular clip I showed you of Peaches. And what I find extremely ironic about this is I couldn't even bully this clip out of Fox Mafia. I couldn't even bully the original video out of them. They just flat out were probably just refusing to show me it, but they were claiming they didn't have it anymore, which...
I'll just put a timestamp on screen and you can skip ahead. But of course, I'm giving you approximately 3 seconds before we play the clip and just how fucking disturbing it is. 3, 2, 1...
Like, what he got is fucking, like, ass gaped and torn asunder by fucking Lio Man's giant, like, throbbing white barbed lion. And Peaches, I really hope, like, fucking Daddy Lio bends you over his knee for, like, the stupid shit you just pulled. Because I can't wait to, like, fucking see the video. Because if a video gets made of, like, you getting your fucking ass, like, fucking gaped like Coyote Lovely did, oh, it's gonna be so great.
What? Yeah, genuinely disturbing.
What I think is genuinely disturbing is how you can...
You guys, what the fuck? Why? No. Oh my god. I could have lived my entire life without hearing that. My whole life. Wow. Dude, what the hell? What the actual fuck? Sometimes I feel like I'm the only normal person, like, left alive. Sometimes I really truly feel like I'm the last normal person, because why would you ever say that? Why would you ever say that? Okay.
And completely remove the context of what this person was saying and just take all of their words extremely fucking literally. As we can clearly see, something he's supposed to be presenting as the worst moment. This clip is obviously hyperbolic. And the suggestion, the sort of connotations here are that Fursky Doodles is implying they hope Peaches gets taken to task the same way Coyote Lovely did. Contextual.
Okay, I am not gonna sweep for this. I don't know what fucking Kumo is doing right now. That was unhinged. That was deranged behavior. So I disavow. I can't get behind on this one, bud.
They were talking about and reacting to the expose of Coyote Lovely. Now, would I have used these words to say the same fucking thing? Not a chance in hell. But then again, I'm not a degenerate furry who has an F list of all their kinks and all the different shapes of dildos they like. Given this is one of the main people you refer to within the Fox Mafia as a quote-unquote file, I feel very inclined to take it with an entire salt shaker whenever you make an assertion about them. So, needless to say, the Fox Mafia will be covered in their own video. I don't like them. I think they have plenty of things they need to be called out for that don't have anything to do with being called files. But to say I was ever associated with them or friends with them is just a very baseless and misguided assertion, and it's definitely the furthest from the truth. The next person on the list of people I'm apparently not allowed to associate with is Gilded Poo, and Gilded Poo is referred to as a file by Lio and Peaches both. Problem is, Lio already corrected this assertion the first time he made it, and then doubled back because I guess Peaches said so. Now, I actually choose to still associate with Gilded, because he's actually not a bad guy, if I'm being entirely honest with you. In fact, he's helped me with the production of this video, but because I know if I try to explain it, I'm gonna be biased, and maybe even way too charitable. So I'm giving Gilded Poo the opportunity to come on here and explain his side of the story, and explain how Lio and Peaches have been lying about him for God knows how long now.
Kumo obviously...
If this guy, I swear to God, if this guy is a fucking file, I'm gonna lose my shit. Like, where are all the normal people? Where are all the normal people? Where are they? Hello? Can anyone hear me? Like, can, like, a sane person cover this? Can anybody who is not, like, deranged cover this? Can, please, the right opinion, I need you. Please save me, Right Opinion. You're my only hope.
He asked me to record a bit for his video, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep it short and sweet like he wanted, but I'll try, I guess. But when he asked me that, I realized that I've never, like, sincerely answered that question. It was always wrapped in hyperbole and satire or trolling people. So I'm going to try to do that today. I'm going to try.
I don't know. I feel like if somebody was like, hey, are you a dog fucker? I think I would just say no. I don't think I'd be like, now's a really good time to make a joke. Like, maybe that's a me thing. I don't know. I would just, no, I'm not. Like, I don't know.
My sincere, honest side of the entire debacle. And you'll never see this in any of my videos. You'll not see this on Twitter. I'm never going to talk about this as serious ever again. And the reason why is because it's too funny to play to the fantasies of the people complaining than it is to actually tell the truth about the situation, because the truth here is stupid, and it actually makes me look even stupider, and not because of the bestiality stuff, which I guess you could argue makes me look stupid, but the shit
Wait a minute.
makes me look stupider. Like some of the dumb thoughts
Wait a
I
minute.
made along the way are hilarious, and they're more boring than just saying I have terabytes or brontobytes of bestiality porn. But unfortunately, before we do that, we got to go back in time to a great year, the great year of 2009. It's a year
we
after the
need.
recession,
I have a lot of
prices
questions.
are
We got to talk
fluctuating for
faster.
basically everything quite rapidly.
Okay.
And I, have a job, and I got a job mainly because, I mean, other than weed, but the primary reason I have a job at this time period is because I'm saving up for a fucking gaming machine. I had always had computers when I was really
but
young.
wait a minute, because we have to go. I need help right now, because like what does buying a gaming computer have to do with you being into bestiality? Please, sir, I have a lot of questions.
They were mostly family computers, but I didn't have like an actual gaming computer that I could play anything other than like Doom 1 or Age of Empires on. So I wanted to build something that was, a gaming rig. It was modern, etc. So I don't have a whole lot of the parts from it. Sadly, I don't have the original graphics card that I had bought for it, which, if I recall correctly, was the AMD Radeon HD 5870, if I recall correctly. But
what kind of autism is this? Can you just answer the question? Do you think dogs are hot or no?
Somewhere in my room, I have the graphics card that I purchased in roughly 2014.
Please,
that I installed
please, sir.
on that computer,
Please, sir.
Trying to upgrade the
please,
graphics
sir.
card and all that jazz. And I don't know where the hell it is. And if I remember correctly, it was like an R9 270X or something like that, or 280X. But that doesn't matter. What does matter is I do still have the processor, which is an i5 750. And for those
I think I am being trolled. I think I'm being trolled.
The very first Intel i5 that they ever made. I was 20 years old.
I'm being trolled. I'm being trolled.
Break. But of course, the last thing, and you shouldn't get this confused with the hard drive that I showcased in the video I did responding to Lio. Me actually writing fucking zoo porn XXXX on this fucking goddamn hard drive, well, actually, it was technically on paper that was taped to the hard drive, did more psychological damage to these people. This fucking IDE drive from 1999, thinking that it actually, unironically, contained the very
Oh, okay, so it was just a meme. Phew! Okay, thank God.
folder I've been talking about. That is a much older hard drive for like a Windows 98 computer, and I still have the boot disk for that computer. But this is a SATA, not an IDE hard drive. It's 160 gigabytes from Seagate. The model number is
I feel better. I feel a lot better.
ST3160815AS. You can look that up and confirm that it's a real drive. And then, if you want to look up the date to confirm that this was in fact manufactured in 2008, at the end of 2008, the date code is 09165.
I don't care enough about any of that now.
And so the point is, at the end of 2009, I created my very first gaming computer. And shortly after building that gaming computer, within the same year, I discovered this lovely heavenly place, or at least was at the time, called 4chan. And in that, I was introduced to a lot of shit. Now, granted, I want to make this point clear. This was not the first time I saw gross out fucking shit or trolling or anything. It was not unusual when I was growing up to wake up in the morning and see that your Motorola Razr was filled to the brim with like fucking scat and bestiality porn that your fucking friends had sent you while you were asleep.
Maybe I just have like exceptional friends, but my friends have never sent me disgusting scat and bestiality porn. Maybe I'm the outlier here. Maybe that's a me thing. I don't know, but that's something, I guess.
So that concept was something that wasn't foreign to me. And if you don't believe that, by the way, you can go look up 2 Girls, 1 Cup if you want to. That was very popular at the time to troll people with.
Okay, if that's what we're talking about, okay. If it was like, hey guys, Google 2 Girls, 1 Cup, or like Google blue waffle, or whatever the fuck, like, okay, fine. Okay, yes, I accept these terms. But like, the way that he just presented that made it sound like it was like not just that. Okay.
Idea was to sit it to somebody to watch them get grossed out. That was the entire point. It's actually referred to by some as the shock jock era, which, by the way, was not just something that was done by cringe people on the internet. It was also done in the mainstream. There are movies like Freddy Got Fingered or the show Jackass, including like the first couple movies, all showcase the same behavior. I mean, how many people went to go see Jackass with their friends and they weren't really laughing at the movie as much as they were laughing at their friends for being the weirdo normies that got bent out of shape and cried about it, right?
I actually watched Jackass because I thought it was funny. I didn't watch it to laugh at people who didn't think it was funny and got grossed. I just thought it was funny. Again, maybe it's just different life experiences, I suppose, but...
There's a lot of people. It was very common at this time period. Hell, even popular radio hosts at the time, like Howard Stern, participated in this shock jock era. Whereas today, from my standpoint anyway, the world has become increasingly more sensitive. But regardless of all of that...
Fucking snowflakes. You guys are such fucking pussies. Like, what do you mean you won't sit down and watch 2 Girls, 1 Cup? You fucking snowflake. What is wrong with you?
2009 and 2014, I created a folder on here called Trigger. And that folder is old, as I said, and that folder is like probably 200 megabytes.
I don't.
It's very, very tiny. It consists of.
I'm not having fun anymore. What is happening?
Like, very tiny videos that are very poor quality that on a modern HD stream would look even more like shit. Might get away with it on a phone, but probably not. But primarily, it has pictures and I think a handful of actually really bad GIFs. This folder is very old, and the truth is, you can get a lot of what's in that folder on numerous fucking 4chan archives.
Maybe it's a bit, but at what cost? Okay, maybe it is a bit. Maybe it's a bit, you guys, but like, at what cost? You know what I mean? Like, okay, very, very funny. You downloaded beastiality porn to troll your friends. Got him? Good joke? Like, what is fucking happening, dude? What is fucking happening? What is going on, dude?
Now, you might be saying at this point, well, in the past, you said terabytes, and now you're saying it's a 160 gigabyte drive, and if you're a real sleuth, you might...
Is that really what people are hung up on? Is that, Gilded, be real with me, is that really it?
Be asking, well, you said in the past 440 megabytes, and now you're saying 200 megabytes. Which is it? Well, the answer to that's pretty fucking
We should have
simple.
stayed with
You can
Akuma's
just go
video.
on Amazon right now and purchase like an external kit thing that allows you to...
Hey guys, just go on Amazon and buy one of these to troll your friends by downloading porn. It's so funny. I'm not having a good time anymore. I thought this was about Lio Convoy. How long is this? Look at how long his bit is. Okay, what the hell? Okay, I didn't like that. I didn't like that. Oh god. Why can't like normal people cover this? Why can't I just get like a normal video? Why do I have to be like assaulted digitally? Why can't it just be like D'Angelo Wallace? Why don't you cover this? Like, please, God. Oh my god. That was terrible. That was awful. That was awful.